Oops. All right. Hello and welcome. 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 We are we're doing some Emperor's Children contemplating today. Pause you. So we're using this kind of 30k Terminator armor. Actually, funny enough, I will actually need one of these models in the future for the captain of our Space Marine chapter thing. But there's a whole special thing I'm gonna get with that, so we'll get into that. But I otherwise have a normal Terminator unit. This is it in the version it used to be in, so we'll definitely utilize this later, maybe potentially later for a different scheme. It's just drying through the primer right now, so I can cover, because you can kind of see Cataphractii armor versus Terminator armor. They're very they're very different sized. Not by a crazy amount, mind you. You can kind of see it, like, not by a crazy amount, but definitely by enough. So yes, box up. So we're gonna do some tests, kind of scheming here. So funny enough, I actually need to get. Actually, I'm gonna go grab my palette. I forgot that. 1 second. I'm gonna need to see. God, this thing always slides. My chair always slides down. It goes right into the. All right, so we are going to be making use of actual. Tools today, but also the airbrush. As I alluded to with the scheme last time, and hopefully this time it will go much better than it did the last time. We will hopefully we'll kind of get better luck here. But so for this first portion of the scheme, I'm actually going to use a couple of colors here. So we're gonna use a lot of pure pink, pixie pink, and volupus pink. Volupus? I don't know how you spell that. We're gonna make these kind of both of these pink. And that's gonna be our kind of guideline. So we're gonna start though first. We're gonna get some whites down in the spots that I know I want white. We're gonna start with a pretty. I actually need to go grab a purple here in a minute. That that will wait for the second model. So the first one I'm gonna do here. This is gonna be very like. This one is going to be very, like, classic Emperor's Children. I don't know, there was a lot of people who are like, why is the Emperor's Children like not their classic scheme. Like here, let me kind of showcase an example here. Because this is like an old thing too. See if we can kind of see both next to each other. Yeah, here we go. And this is an old picture, and like that's what I really want to take use with, is like this is an older picture. So we've got this here. So like on the top you've got here, actually let me get so I can gesture with the cursor here. So on the top you've got, this is the old scheme, this kind of purpley, and this is still like these are Noise Marine still, right? You know, and then this is old Noise Marine model, right? This isn't even new Noise Marine. You know, or like new Emperor's Children. Like these are old models. All of these are super old models. And, you know, so like the concept of this, of Emperor's Children having this black and pink mix is not new. It's not a new concept. There's a lot of people who I think, you know, obviously who came into this hobby very 30K, reading Horus Heresy, you know, seeing all the Primarch stuff, seeing all the 30K stuff, right? And they maybe just hadn't really seen these. Or when people made these, that they really only saw them kind of make them in this design. But that really never, like, it has been this way for a long time. Like a very long time. So that is kind of an important thing to note. So when I say, you know, when I say classic Emperor's Children design, I really mean like the pink and black. That's kind of what we're gonna start off with today. So first kind of place I'm gonna start then here is we'll get kind of we'll get a leg here. We'll get like kind of an open leg going. Closer, since I'm doing standard patent here. This is not the easiest term or model to try to work with here. Then we'll get this gauntlet here. I forgot to fill up a paint cup with water. I just noticed that. I've just got a dry cup next to me. I'll have to fix that. I'll get this whole pauldron, even though I'm gonna get gold. I don't need to worry about anything that's gonna get like any form of like gold or silver. Sorry if it goes out of focus for a little bit because it like hits my hand or something. Also, I don't know what the hell somebody did to this shoulder. It looks like they tried to kind of hide that it was once a Dark Angel. Alright, let me get... Alright, let me get some water. I'm using wireless headphones today. I'm borrowing them from my wife, but it's gonna make going and doing these little errands so much nicer. All right. All right. What are you doing? What am I doing? This watching. What was this thread that I was looking at? Is it okay to use... FW? put a little extra white inside here, so it's a little thin, sticking it up a little. You know, given that this is going to be the color this model stays at long term, I'm not really worried too much about like whether or not like whether or not it actually the amount of white I think it's on here is fine. I'll still do a little bit of extra, just like pigmenting, just to yeah, I'll start this where most of the pink will instead be on extremities, and I'll keep a lot of detail parts and whatnot as the pink parts. Have a little bit of spillage back here. It's fine. Like I said, this isn't. It's not like these are the Terminators I'm going to be using anyway. So. I don't know what the hell happened out of this. I have no idea what happened here with this bullet, with this cauldron. I don't know where my paint rag went. I don't know. But all right, I think we're pretty good here, pretty set. Give this kind of a second to dry out a little bit. So yeah, so now from that, I'm gonna do it a little bit differently. I'm not gonna go pure like what the classic Emperor's Children look is, and I do want to semi-showcase a little bit of maybe my inspiration, you know. Let me pull this back up here. Maybe not my inspiration, but what is actually really nice and is inspiring. Sorry. Let me see how I need. You can be quiet. So yeah, we've got this guy. So this is a very cool one. This is that classic look. He went though. This is the classic look, more pink than I think they used to, and definitely more pink than what we're doing. You know, than what we're at least initially doing here. But this is kind of partly what I want to play with. You know, I'm playing with this kind of concept, right? But then we've got let's see, where are you? The very 30K inspired look, which this is partly where I'm thinking of maybe going. So not explicitly this purple, but I'm thinking potentially utilizing this purple for most of the model, and then um, in silver accents, but then seeing what happens if I spray this over as a, kind of as a, kind of as like a zenithal kind of thing. Seeing what this does on top of the purple is really what I want to kind of find out. And then, obviously there's the, nope. Hold on. Yeah, we've got the classic 80s Marine, which is really cool. I'm not doing this for an army. I'm not doing this for an army. It's not happening. The model's sick, but it's not happening. I'm not doing it. Alright, and then finally we've got there's one between this. Hold on. Oh yeah, this. I thought this was an interesting concept of having a very white Emperor's Children. That was an interesting concept. I actually really liked that. This one I thought was cool, going very metallic and kind of this brass, not even brass, just kind of like bronzy gold. And then this one is kind of similar maybe to some of my, what did you please? There we go. This one very similar, I think, to maybe some of the parts I'm thinking of, but it's kind of similar to that second one we looked at. Very similar to this. So yeah, it's kind of, we've got a good number of these are very interesting for sure. That one, great idea, not doing it. This is a great opportunity, though, for me to also kind of come here and complain a little bit. I'm just so inherently annoyed at what GW is deciding to do with this range. It's just like, why are we removing so many options? I get it. I don't get it. I was gonna say I get it. You want to make sure there's a difference between CSM and the four god armies, but no, I don't get it. Because then why the hell are Blood Angels allowed to use generic Space Marines? Why are Dark Angels allowed to use generic Space Marines? Why are Space Wolves allowed to use generic Space Marines? Right? Why can they not only use a small portion of transports and then be stuck with their own specialty unit, right? Because it's very clear that nothing new is ever coming out other than characters for Thousand Sons, Death Guard, and then clearly World Eaters was the new standard being set by GW. And it's bullshit. It's a complete realm of bullshit. How are you gonna have this whole launch be about excess, and then you're gonna give 70 data sheets to an army? It is one of the most ridiculous concepts I think I have ever heard of a company trying to make you be okay with. And I would similarly make the argument, right, of if you were worried that they would end up being overpowered, then why do you have sisters rules the way they are? It don't make no sense to me. I kind of knew I was going to get stuff in the black with the airbrush here, but I knew my internal logic was that if I at least kept it black, that, and aim as precisely as possible, that I would at least have a good idea of like what I intended to be pink and what I intended to be black. What's funny about this is this could almost be like, I could almost take this and kind of call it a day, right? It's funny, it's now so bright, it's actually like, now it's like almost too, like the camera settings are now almost too bright. It's got so much pink. But yeah, like, it actually looks even brighter than it on camera than it does in real life. See if I can kind of give you a better outlook into this. I wonder if maybe my white balance settings just also aren't great. Let's see. White balance. No, it's like 2. It's better. Yeah. So yeah, we got this. Oh, I think it's on auto white balance. All right, hold on. Turn myself off for a second. Oh, that was playing. That looks closer. That looks closer at least. This feels like it's a little more accurate to the color that I'm seeing in my eyes. So, that'll work. Is this maybe the best way for me to show it on camera? Maybe not, but it is definitely what I'm gonna roll with. All right, now my most hated part. Having the cleaner in. It's just the bottle I have is so messy. Second. Yeah. It always takes a couple to get through this part is. I would say we are on the plus side, not dealing with anything nearly as frustrating as I was last week so far, which is a nice improvement. Definitely, I kind of learned that our main problem last week was the fact that we were essentially just effectively at war with whatever the hell the Vallejo White was doing inside this airbrush. Despite thinning it, it just didn't seem to care. So, like, if I were to ever use Vallejo White in the airbrush again, what I would need to do is I would definitely need to mix it outside of the bottle. What's gonna be really nice though is that when we do the contrast paint, it will go in through the airbrush so nicely. And that's why really, like, I'm such a proponent for using, I mean, contrast paints in general, but like especially in airbrushes. Like, if you really like what you get, if you really like what you get out of contrast paints in terms of colors and like, or like kind of the finish you get, but you don't want the kind of splotchiness that sometimes does happen with brushing on contrast paints, put it through an airbrush. You will be so pleased with the results. Contrast paints through an airbrush go crazy hard. And they're one of the most understated things. Which you'll find out, hopefully, with this. This is, I know, pretty almost out, so I'm gonna need to be semi-careful with how I pour this in there, because otherwise I will create a huge mess. Let's start with it being this light for now. There we go. What happened to my music? Yes. I'm sorry, I have it on in the background, freaking YouTube. Alright. So this is very similar to how I had painted actually my sisters. My sisters kind of have a very similar paint job. So I'm gonna do one half this model like I did my sisters. And then I'm the other half like a kind of zenithal. Kind of see how I like it. right. Getting into close examination here. I like this look. I kind of like the more Zenithal-y kind of look, though. Like, it not being so dark, I think up here is nice. But I think it is a good blend. I think just doing a very light airbrushing, though, works the best. So now let's do... this is an air paint, but I will brush it on just because of simplicity. For the sake of simplicity. Luckily, because it's an airbrush paint, it's actually going to be decently thin as it is. So. Yeah. And I realized I could see really what you guys are looking at. Okay. So I think then get some black over some spots. Then we're gonna get our Grim Black contrast paint. Not gonna spray it, obviously, because we very easily get over the rest of our pinks. I'm gonna leave the helmet black for now because it's not part of the scheme that I'm really worrying about, and the helmet's in such an annoying spot to try to reach with the airbrush on a model that's not gonna be that way, like versus a model that I'll have later that will not have that problem. Then I don't want to worry about it. actually gonna test. I'm actually gonna try putting silver on that knee pad. A little sloppy on that part, but it's all right. All right. I like this very classic look with like the silver instead. Like I think it's a very good look. I turned myself off at some point. I don't know when I did that, but here we are. This is a very cool look. I'm pretty happy with this. I've got a little. Here, look it up for just from this way. Again, I'm not worrying about this being perfect. This is more about creating some form of design concept. Part of me, though, does think maybe gold is still the way to go if I'm doing this way. I think the gold is partly really what's important, but I like the silver. And I think the place that I'll like the silver the most is going to be on the purple design that I have drummed up. So let me get this guy over here. I actually do need to turn myself off again. Oh, I think I turned it off when I was drinking, and I think I didn't turn it back on. Alright, so before I get too crazy here, I'm gonna do one experiment. So let's get this guy. I'll zoom in here for a minute. Let's get this guy on the support here. So we will be working. We'll get a proper Terminator this time, conceptually. But what I want to experiment with first is I have got this purple Riven, right? I want to see, and this will be a similar purple. This I think is Leviathan purple by, and this will be a little bit brighter. But I want to see, I just want an idea of what will happen when I do this, right? What will happen when I kind of coat this in this? This time I'm just gonna plaster. This Reaver is kind of like one of my classic experiment models. this out. Take a look at that in a moment. This is a great, this is a great stream example for, like, people who want to know, like, how do I experiment? Like, how do I know when it's something I really want? Because, like, right now, for example, right, this is really wet. So it's like, how do I know that this is going to work? Well, first we have to obviously let this dry out. I caked this half versus, like, just kind of using, like, low lights and, like, essentially kind of like a low light with that one. Sorry. But yeah, it's like, use models that you don't care about, that are maybe going to get repainted anyway. I am looking at this Terminator, this Cataphractii Terminator next to me, and I am like, I didn't turn myself on again. Hi, what's up? I kind of do have to get whenever I use these pinks, I do have to kind of get a decent amount of cleaner through it, because they do really just kind of, like, really stick into places sometimes, especially because I let it sit a little. But that's kind of why I'm doing this, where I've got this Q-tip in the cleaner. Break up just kind of what's in there. Much better. All right. should just switch myself, honestly. I'm gonna move myself over. I just end up looking this way most of the time, so let's just do that. And then I'll make this bigger too. Actually, I'll make this bigger and I'll make me smaller. I know it's a normal thing for a lot of VTubers to be really big in the frame. You know, and that's a culture thing. However, for at least this stream especially, I don't feel like doing that. I lost my lower light. One second. Let's recharge it all. We're gonna find out. No. No, you're not. We're gonna find out how this goes. Otherwise, we'll be without that light, which is okay. Not the end of the world, but it would be nice. It'd be nice to have the light. Okay. Deal with that later. How we doing? How we drying out here? I'm not minding it. It's a little red though. This is a great red bin. If I was doing word bearers, if I was doing a word bearers army, I think this is what I would do. I would probably base coat it all. I would base coat it all in this purple and then just powder coat it or just cake it with this, right? That makes it like a real, because this is like a really deep, very like word bearsy red. Where I like with this, we are kind of getting this little bit here. So I'll definitely try for just like a very light zenithal on it. Do this here. And now we'll have a little bit more free reign on the model. I don't have to keep, I don't intend really to have black on this. But I do like this. I'm still looking at this and I'm like, I really like this. I might try some gold, but we'll get to that. We'll do that in a minute. I mean, this is royal purple, so this is really like, this is a metallic-y, like true Emperor's Children, like 30k Emperor's Children-y purple. Honestly, I think I'll just base coat pretty much this whole bottle in it. I'll maybe try to avoid some of the filigree, but anything like the horns and anything on the armor itself, it's all gonna get coated. And this is actually a very different purple, so that experiment maybe didn't work the greatest amount. Let me do this. We can do this experiment now later. Let's finish getting this boy. Yep, there it goes. I'll just turn this up. Like a little piece of something stuck inside here I want to grab. A string or a hair. Don't want to get it in the way. I think this is just about everywhere. I think I need to re-white balance the camera though. Alright. I realized I hadn't looked at the time in a minute. I was a little worried. We're good. We're all good. I'm probably going to do another one of these streams on Thursday. So. See, what I don't like right now is whatever this is kind of doing. We're like really getting like we're getting a very, you guys are, this looks extremely more purple in your guys's in this camera view than it does my own eyes. Let me go take let me look at this find this stuff. Yeah, so I think I need that feels very close. This feels much more correct. Okay. All right. Now, first, let's get cleaner in here. Let me double check though before I do this. Anywhere I missed? No, everywhere looks good. Gotta wait for this to come get loose here. But yes, I am very upset at. Here's the thing: I'm very happy to get the Emperor's Children themselves, right? I mean, look, I based my entire Sisters army off of, like, creating a loyalist version of Emperor's Children, if you will. You know, like, I was like, what if there was a group of what if there was an order of sisters that, so kind of like how I was kind of inspired by like how, for example, the Imperial, like everything that like the Imperial creed and religion, it like takes belief from, right? Like it's almost all based on readings and teachings from Lorgar. And so I was like, what if I took that concept and kind of ran with it similar, right? Wherein, because nobody knows that. Nobody knows that this Imperial religion is based on the Book of Lorgar. So my thought was kind of similar. What if there was an order of sisters, essentially kind of founded on the fact, this idea of being peerless, duelists, and almost artists of war in the Emperor's name, right? That would be the very clear part, is that it's all very centered around being the Emperor. I mean, that was the thing, right? Because Fulgrim was incredibly loyal to the Emperor. And I mean, the Emperor was so impressed by him that the Emperor's children got to wear the Aquila, right? And so, like, that's a big thing. But obviously they turned traitor and everything around that. But that means that a lot of things about the Emperor's children have been kind of snuffed about. And so a big thing that now will be the case will be like, they'll kind of be, now that the Emperor's children are kind of rejoining the galaxy, there'll kind of be this like identity crisis, if you will, amongst the sisters of that order, that my custom order. I'm gonna do like a really light but full cake pass over this. Otherwise, then yeah, I'll finish the kind of zenithaling on this side. But I actually kind of like this. I like this. This is actually super cool looking. Ooh, this is a good pink mix. This is a cool pink mix. Ooh. And it would make my life easier. It would make my life easier. Look at that. Like, so there, again, same issue as last time, but if I do it really light, you know, the Zenithal looks kind of interesting. I'm not great at doing that though, so it's kind of why I don't want to necessarily get on it too hard, because yeah, well, that turned out here, right? Like, it's okay, but it's not great, you know? But like, you know, and then here, kind of just like went for it. The kind of light, doing it very lightly, but going over the whole thing with this is super cool. This is very cool blend here. That's an awesome blend. And I can kind of get it here too, so if I go a little extra on the edges, it's fine, you know? Because the rider looks okay, you know? But yeah, like this side, I think this looks super cool. This looks so cool. We're doing that. So it's gonna be, what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep a really light, come back. We're gonna do like a really light overlay with this Volupus pink. It's gonna try to just do it very lightly so that the purple still kind of hangs out, but doesn't we don't lose it entirely. Okay, zoom out a bit. Have to kind of be careful about hanging around too much in one spot. I can't hang around in one spot for too long. I'm gonna try going really dark though on the feet. I mean, kind of my experiment for this half. That's like, that looks, I like it. I like it. It's cool. It's a cool look. Still has that pink hueiness, but has the purple kind of in there. It's kind of like a gradient or like iridescent. Like certain lighting, you know, maybe it looks kind of like certain lighting, maybe it looks kind of like that looks really pink. But you can kind of get some of the purple and some of the certain lighting. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I'm really cool with this. This is cool. All right, now let's experiment with certain places here for some accent colors. I forgot to grab the gold, so my gold. I actually have that gold. I don't know how much is left. I remember it being pretty low the last time I used this. There's a lot of paints that I'll have to kind of get new versions of. We'll be okay. We'll be okay with this experiment. I want a smaller brush. Since I'm actually potentially kind of done with the airbrush, I want to definitely want to clean it out right now. Ah! I started spraying out in the wrong spot. Today went so much better than the other day. Like, I was getting, I mean, if the VOD doesn't exist, I did not publish that and definitely will be deleted at some point. But I was like, just not, I was not a happy camper that day. And it was actually really just all the Vallejo White's fault, but I didn't fully know that. I forgot to text my wife. Realize that. Oops. Oh, my cable. Yes. Do we have any invites? 1 second. I have to. Let me look around quick. Oh, this gets so annoying. Finding a Google form is so annoying. It's just so annoying. Sorry. I'm trying to get through this, but I gotta. No, that's the sheet. That's not. Copy responder link. There we go. Okay, there we go. Grab a boy. Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, I was going to switch up. That's why I was off this too. Here we go. All right.
Are you gonna focus at some point?
Well, might as well make it. There. I don't.
We love chaos, Trim.
Move this over here. Easier for me to kind of look up and see if I'm out of camera or whatnot if I'm over here. So much trim. Anywhere you look, there is more. Cut that a little. Oh. So by the way, if you're ever wondering, like if you're like ever like, man, I really want to, I want to do more him painting videos. I feel like I'm a good painter. I want to do that. My number one piece of advice. So see kind of how I'm pretty zoomed in here. We're pretty zoomed in here. Notice how kind of like if I shift this model in the various portions of the frame here, it goes. I have this camera set to f11. So like near the top of its aperture, how closed the aperture gets, right? It is almost just about as closed as it gets. I have to have more of this. Let's see. All right, now I'm gonna try silver, see how this looks. But yeah, and even then, I get out of focus really fast. Being zoomed in is very hard on a camera. It's trying to look through like a very tight window, which does not help it. So there's two really good things that you can always try to do. Because I'd love, like, if, because that's the thing, right? If you're really wide, you can get a lot of benefit, but then you have to get the camera really close. And unless you're having a hand cam or something, which has its own kind of drawbacks and things like that, it's not perfect. So, like for me, this is the best way because even though I'm in scenarios where maybe, I need to try to get kind of tight and I'm looking through a window that's very small because I'm zoomed in all the way, it's better to me than, say, like, trying to like especially over worry about how well I'm sticking within the frame. How did I do that? Excuse me? What? Okay. I hit a key and I turned myself off. What? Oh, it's because I have it highlighted. I had it selected, so I hit spacebar. And it got rid of me. OBS trying to get rid of me. Question though, have I been getting these ads for like this mobile game where they're like, it's like the Giants have risen or whatever the fuck? Because like I like look at it and I'm like, this very much appears. I can't confirm. I'm not an expert, but I'm like, this super feels like this is like AI animated. This is like an AI animated trailer. And I'm like, I'm off camera for a minute. That's on purpose. I was cleaning up a mistake of mine. But yes, I would love to be able to physically. I was kind of getting to earlier. I would love to be able to physically bring the camera closer, but the issue with that is I then can't really get in and out of my desk very well if I do that. So I'm kind of in a position, in an aspect where I'm like literally between. I'm a bit between a rock and a hard place, literally. All right, preemptively. Well, let's finish. That's actually. So let me get this part. I feel like seeing the top, the ring and. Let me get that. Where's my bone white? All right. Let's see. I'm gonna let this dry for a minute. I'm gonna add rust tone to both sides for the wash. Adjust the trim, and then I'll see what that does. Because this shit, pretty fucking magic. Not gonna lie. Like, this shit's pretty fucking magical. So. That's not going. But yeah. So, well, I could probably start on the gold. But that gold is probably good by now. And if some gets on the pauldron, it's okay. This could take a little bit of over spillage. Just some spillage, just fine. Like, especially on like the feet. Alright, we got our rust tone on each side. Let's see what this does. Alright, while that dries out, I'll add some gold to the other Terminator here, the Cataphracti armored Terminator. And see maybe if I like it better. So like here. I'm leaning too far in is what that was doing. Not that bad. You saw me do that. like a good potential mix of some things would work for sure. But definitely the pink purple like mixture I've got going right now is definitely it. That's for sure. This makes it just appear more broken though than I think it needs to. Like the gold with that wash is, I think, good. This isn't fully dried yet either though, but the gold with the wash is good. Silver, which is mostly dried, doesn't feel that way. Now what happens if I were to kind of dried up? Sure. Now what if we did like probably needs to be a little smaller of a brush. Okay, I'm gonna set this torso in. I'll let this torso set in. I'm gonna change the music because this has been repeating for a minute. And it's getting real annoying. Let's just go to this one. Alright. Let's see here. Let's add it to the lower pulp, this lower greave as well. trying to do that too soon. So what I did accidentally was I tried to see if I could do the trim while this was drying still. Not a good move. And that backfired horribly. But the idea of maybe doing some black along with the idea of maybe doing some black along with the this like purpley actually I'm gonna try one thing. I'm gonna try something. I haven't done this yet and I would like to try it. I'm gonna put some earth shade into the airbrush and I'm gonna spray it over, especially like large portions of the armor or something. Uh-oh. I'm just about out of earth shade. Okay, that should be enough. I'm gonna need more earth shade. There we go. Very grimy. Very grimy. I like that. It really helps take the shine out. Now, I wanted to reduce some of that, bring some of the shine back. Dab a little bit in water. Kind of. I wanted to bring some of the shine back, right? Yeah, this will work. Yo, we're cooking, chat. Chat, we're cooking? We're cooking. I like that. I think then I would keep this purple. Yeah, keep that purple. And then, yeah, just like spray earth shade it. Because that looks great. And then, getting some of the shine back by just, you know, dabbing. Kind of like when you make a mistake, right? Like, if you just dab some water on a Q-tip, just kind of brush it off, the shine comes back. And you get just like, but then it's still in there a little bit, right? Like, it has been flavored with the earth shade. So you can kind of control, like, where you want to keep the earth shade, where you don't. I like that instead of the rust. Maybe some of the Ross is okay. But yeah. I think I have my scheme. I thought I was going to potentially do a very blendy type of thing. But I don't think so. I think it's going to be pretty classic Emperor's Children-y. I think it's just what I like. It just feels right, you know, looking at it. And granted, I think maybe if I do a little bit extra here, I think that'll help distinct it. Give it a little bit more distinction if I do a little bit extra. But yeah, I like this. This is I think going to be a fun thing here. Rubbing off from a white almost never goes right. Yeah, I think we've got our concept. I think we've got the concept. I would clean it up otherwise, but I mean, other than that, like, I think we have the concept. Keep this purple, kind of like this. This is it right here, pretty much. Like, if you want a good, this is the scheme, and if anything, I get more of this right here. I like it a lot. This was okay. Look, I don't mind this. I thought this was okay. It's just too, I don't know. It's that realm though of just like, I like the pink Emperor's Children. Pink Emperor's Children will always be very cool to me. I just feel like I'm getting a really extra thing with this, you know? That I'm not feeling this. Like, I feel like there's just something missing in comparison. And I know this is really sloppy, but it's just because I'm when you're doing a proof of concept, you don't need to pay attention to details all that much. But I kind of realized though I was deciding on this, that's why I was a little bit less reckless with some of the trim, but like not entirely, obviously. But I really like this actually. I really like this. I'm very happy with it. I mean, here, if I Earthshade this, let's just see what happens. Maybe I'll get more out of it. Maybe I'll get more feeling. A little bit. Definitely having some shading on it definitely helps. It for sure helps. But yeah, I think it's just not what I'm really what I'm looking for precisely. So I have some black here. I do want to quickly do a mini experiment or a wrap up. Where'd he go? final thing before we go, we're gonna take sponge. I'm gonna trial out some sponging. Say what's funny is now this one,
The white balance actually does seem off.
so one of the things I realized as well is I need to actually make this greave white and then put in the thing. So when we do the cataphracti on like Thursday or something, we're gonna do the cataphracti, like the captain. We're gonna start doing the captain building on Thursday. Because that'll be the one I'll really use for, like, I'm going to use between that and, like, an intercessor. Try to do those for, like, the actual example. But, because I don't like, the beaky helmet on this, I think, ended up looking weird. So, this was an interesting concept piece, but I think I'm going to have to probably strip it a bit and then redo it. But, very happy with this. Very happy with this, to be honest. This is really cool. Here, let's get this bottom greave back to purple. I'll have those a little dark, so I'm gonna experiment with that a little. Let that dry out a little more. But yeah, pretty stoked about this. I think I got a good scheme going forward. There will definitely be streams of me painting up my Emperor's Children when they arrive. Because yes, The reason we were doing this was because we are getting the models are coming. I'm gonna be getting some Emperor's Children, which is kind of why I have obviously some strong opinions. Thank you. I have some strong opinions about the way they're handling the codex, but nevertheless, I'm still gonna paint them up and have some good times with them, because GW can't stop me from having a good time. I have to fix the horns because I had to strip some of that paint off. Can you spray there, dry brush? I'm trying to clean out my dry brush right now. Inside. So I don't know if it's going to be OP. I think I was just kind of reading into or starting to watch some stuff about it. I don't know about OP. I think it's going to obviously be strong when it comes out, right? Because when it comes out, it's going to start strong because people don't know how to deal with it. You know, that's going to be the number one thing. And obviously, like, when it's a brand new codex, I think both Votann and World Eaters suffered a very similar thing, where they had unknown army syndrome. People didn't know how to deal with it. But the thing that I think that the two things that I think help it a lot is like in terms of not being OP, is you can't hyper focus a target on the fallback shoot or on the fallback and charge, right? I don't remember if it's fallback shoot and charge, but either way, you can't do it on what you were engaged to. And that can be a lot of problems because let's do like an example here. So let's say, you know, we're fighting this guy, this guy, and this guy out on the board, right? These are on the board. And so we've got our Terminators here. They're engaged here. Yeah. So this would be fine if we could just fall back. Oops. If we could just fall back and charge this guy, right? That would be fine. The problem what we'll run into is we'll have this guy engaged here, right? So we're from last battle round, you know, they're engaged. So they can fall back and maybe shoot. But the problem is we need a third unit here because they can't go into this unit at all until I move this guy. So either I'm falling back on one guy and then kind of doing nothing, or maybe trying to shoot something somewhere nearby, but like I'm otherwise like going into this battle round a little locked down here, unless there's something, you know, just a bit on the wayside over there that I can maybe fall back this guy and shoot them, and then I can fall back and charge over here. There. I think that's gonna be a long-term thing. I would love to potentially get demons later. It's not something I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna start in just focusing on the legionaries, and I'm gonna just start in the legionaries and just kind of Emperor's Children, not legionaries because they don't have generic legionaries. But like the normal Emperor's Children units that will come in the box, and then probably do a number of kit bashing, because I saw a video. Actually, I should show it, because this guy made a very good video and I think it's worth sharing if you're interested in the Emperor's Children. Where are you? This guy made a very cool video about, so this guy because I am all about, I am much, while our podcast is not called Poor Hammer, we sure as hell love to, I sure as hell love to tell people how they can save money on, or do Warhammer for cheaper. In this guy's video, he does a really good, what the, oh, my camera died. I'll give it a, I'll just show up here for a second. This guy's video he did a really cool job of, what he did was he got the Champions of Slaanesh box and then got just a single kit of Mark 6. He calls it Mark 4 a lot in the video. Don't worry about it. Mark 6 Horus Heresy, which comes with 20 models. The Horus Heresy kits are more expensive on their own, but they come with double the units. So they're actually usually a pretty solid value. But yeah, so the one thing about, obviously, then, so it's really cool because with that, he turns a 33 kit box into a 53 kit box just because of the bits that are left over. And this is why I love that the Tormentors and Infractors come from the same box. I love when GW does this because this is so good for both kit bashing and thus saving money, and doing something creative in the process, right? Like, that's what I love. Yes, you do have to do that. That is the one thing, but that's easy. The size thing is easy. All you got to do is get some cork, or if you have a 3D printer, 3D print some base material, and you can deal with that. Here, 1 second. I'm going to be right. I'm going to grab a camera. I'm going to grab a spare battery for my camera, so that I can kind of showcase what I'm talking about a little bit. All right. Ugh. All right, you're good. Oh, thank you. Okay, so a good example is this. So we kind of worked with this Cataphractii earlier on a different concept. I lost focus. On kind of a different concept, we worked on this Cataphractii armor. So you can kind of see, right? The size difference isn't crazy. It ain't that crazy. Can you focus, please? Hello? Hello? You wanna work with me here? I guess it doesn't. Do myself. Okay. Yeah, so it's not, and I have them next to me. I don't think I have any. Oh yeah, here we go. Whereas the difference is, ignore the head. The head is a 3D printed, not great head. Whereas the size between a standard, this is just an old 40K, so this might not be the best example, but I know they're close to the height of this old 40K scale, and that's got a bit of headroom on it, right? That's got a bit of extra headroom. But what you can always do, like I said, is kind of like how they do it here. You can either 3D print, some basing stuff here, get a baseline here, or if you get some old cork board, which is really cheap at like any any hobby shop, or even just like Walmart, you can get corkboard, and just put it on the bottom, just break it up, perfectly fine. Yeah, that's similarly kind of what I'm trying to work with on, that's what I'm going to try to work with on some things.
the one I'm trying to get a bit of work in on. Oh, whoops. Where'd you go? Oh, there's my man's.
So I'm kind of doing something similar. So this is a Bits box collection I found here. I'll move this out of the way. This is kind of a Bits box collection here, and then this is a 3D printed leg. And so then what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to see what I can kind of get with on trying to fit something into the head slot and then obviously the arms and stuff. Same. Nope. Same. I'm really bad about bases, and with Adepticon, that's actually what a big chunk of what we're going to do on Thursday stream is going to be, because I need to do a lot of basing. That one is, yeah, I have a resin printer, so anything that I make is going to be resin. This is for example, this guy. This is a guy I'm going to set up for an Angels of Death kill team. Captain and Phobos armor. White Scar, thought it'd be cool. I just wanted like a cool White Scar, looking guy. So I have a Mars 4. So it's pretty good. But the A1 Mini is so good. So we did, if you look down below, we have, I'm gonna look weird for a second. What the hell? I don't know what happened. I host a 40K podcast called Heretic Hammer. It's linked down below. We did, not too long ago, a 3D printing episode, and I know there's all this stuff with Bamboo Lab right now, like the controversy, and I don't know if it's updated since. It was kind of fresh when we recorded the episode, and I don't know if anything's happened since, but I used a bunch of stuff from Once on a Six side, and man, like, what he showcased is really how good that A1 Mini can be. Yeah, that was the thing. Or I said in the video, I'm like, I'll come back to here because we're gonna wrap up soon. That was the big thing. I was like, I don't personally, like, if this was me and I had an A1 Mini, I wouldn't care, right? It would not bother me, but I understand why it bothers people. And it's more about, if anything, a little bit of symbolism to the fact that, like, there is, like, the greater issue, which is that, like, they can just bork your printer at their choosing, right? It's like the video game, downloaded video games thing, where they can rip it off of the Steam library or off of PSN or Xbox, and you can never access it again. And that sucks. And I definitely don't like that. But but otherwise, like, it wouldn't prevent me per se, right, from buying the A1 Mini, because I think it just is very good at what it does. Yeah, I am not amazing about knowing anything about the slicers. I use the two softwares that came with the Mars 4, and that's just what I'm sticking with. I wouldn't think so either. My concern would be is if something bad happens to the company, forbid, I don't wish that upon them. I don't wish that upon any business, really. But, like, because people work there, but, like, it makes me worry, though, about, like, long term, what are they going to do? My hope would be is if they were going out of business, that they were like, all right, everything's open, we're just not worrying about it. Because I think the thing that is important is that I think what they really want people to do is keep the 3D printers updated, like keeping their security updates. Because if I remember, doesn't the Bamboo Lab have Wi-Fi stuff on it? Because if that's the case, then that's a problem. Because then it's hackable, which it's not gonna do a bunch of stuff, but like if it's hackable, that means that your device could then get locked down by someone else, right? So being up to date on security is important. So that's where it's just like it's a realm of like maybe it's not the way that many people would like it to be dealt with, but exactly, they could burn the machine. There's a bunch of issues. Um, so that's kind of why it's like, yeah, I know I understand why it's there, and I can understand why people don't agree with it, but at the same time, it is what it is. And it's up to you to make that decision. So if you're happy with it, that's awesome. And I'm happy about that. And that's all I want. I want people to play Warhammer, feel happy about it, and find ways to be able just to continue the hobby, whether that be by printing models, buying used models. I'm such a proponent of buying used models. Actually, in fact, turn my camera off. I'm going to turn it back on here quick. In fact, this was the original state of these models. So was the original state of this model. It was, these are used. I bought this at my LGS. Actually, so were these. These were used as well, but they were just prime black. But this is how this came. So it's like this. You can actually see how long probably it's been sitting around. It's so dusty. But then, and then, yeah. So you could take those and do what you want with them, And that's where the fun comes in. And these Terminators then only cost me about like $40, 35, I think. Thank you. I mean, this is clearly some type of Word Bearers unit, and so for Word Bearers, that's great. And obviously this isn't done. This is a proof of concept scheming, right? I'll probably then work on the rest of these Terminators sometime in the near future. I need to get stuff ready for Adepticon first, but yeah, like this is gonna be very cool. I am kind of thinking though of maybe doing a combo, a little bit of both, like silver and black, maybe kind of splitting it around. That might be a fun accent thing, kind of like what you can see here in this like the torso piece. Let's see if we can get it close. Kind of see how like it's split up, because I didn't. This is when I did half of the model in the silver, half in the gold. This is definitely the part I like the most, is this. But I wonder if something like this could be fun, where we kind of split it, maybe gradient it over, kind of something like that. That could be fun. But yeah, like I'm very happy with this. This is super cool. I think this will be a really fun way to do Emperor's Children, especially if I can get this kind of hue here. It is. That's why I need to get all those bases done on my sisters. The kill team will be the most important, but honestly, the kill team won't take that long. I'm doing the simplest basing possible. I'm just putting white, this stuff. I'm just putting this stuff in there. Just this snow, ultrafine snow stuff. It'll it will. Oh, I haven't even opened it yet. I haven't unsealed it. But yeah, you can guys see there. It looks like whipped cream. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. But yeah, this is gonna be for my kill team. That's actually the most important thing for me to base, because I'm going into 2 tournament style things for kill team. So it's gonna be really important that I do have those based. But other than that, yeah, that's about it. I got to, yeah, I like doing texture bases. It's just simplest. You can just slather it on, and it's technically good enough. You don't have to put the bushes on or anything. I'll have that for my sisters, but that's all you got to do. Hey, that means that they can get used eventually. That's just future potential. But yeah, other than that, thank you so much for chilling out here for I know you kind of came at the end, which is unfortunate, but I got to get ready for work. Um Bits is bits. That's right, baby. Yeah, so that's why but yeah, so I'm really excited. I'll be back Thursday this week. It's actually an unusual week. I usually only stream Mondays and Tuesdays, but this week I get to do Thursday and Friday. So it's going to be exciting. I'm hyped for that. Um and yeah, that's going to be about it. So hopefully I'll see you on Thursday or Friday. And until then, that makes sense. Most people are. I work second shift, so that's kind of my for most day for Monday and Tuesdays, which is why I do that. And Thursdays and Fridays are my weekend. And Saturday and Sundays I do a lot of stuff with the wife. So very part time on this streaming thing. But yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much. We'd be happy to see you. And otherwise, yeah, if you tune in, I'll be here on Thursday and Friday. Starting time will be about 10 a.m. Central. Might go a little early. We'll see. Otherwise, till then, hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye bye.